Tonight we get a glimpse into Hal's past, find out what it was and how things shaped her the way she is now. Plus, we find out what happened to an old friend. And we actually get a glimpse into the future. Is all things dire, or is there possibly some hope? Find out here on Nephilim Entertainment. What is up? Welcome back, agents. Thanks for tuning in. This is Nephilim Entertainment, and I'm your host, Metron Hale. Tonight we're covering Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, and this is episode 15, Rise and Shine. Well, Philip Collins, our main man, he rubbed his brain cells together and he figured out that Hal, of course, is Hydra. And he doesn't seem too surprised, but after all, he is Philip Collins. Or Philip Coulson. So, of course, he figured out she was Hydra. So, tonight we get a little history lesson about what made her Hydra. 28 years ago, we find out that there actually was Hydra High. Yeah, apparently the super secret organization, the enemy of the state, had a high school, of all places, in an underground bunker, which, if you look closely, you recognize as Hal's current base of operations. Well, we find out our girl was as tenacious as she ever was, and we find out that she actually had some dealings with von Strucker that led to her ultimate future, which was she was chosen. And by chosen, I mean forced to basically breed the ultimate leader. With artificial insemination, she actually was destined to have a daughter, which would grow up to be a little psychopath. And then we find out 2 years ago, we were discussing Ruby's future. Apparently, she misses all the perfect qualities they thought that she would have, and that she wasn't quite ready to be their go-to girl and their A++ star. But with that, we also find out how they dealt with the fall of Hydra, including we also find out that there is actually a general in the high rankings of the U.S. government called General Fisher. Apparently he was actually Hydra, and he was a part of the whole plan all along. So how deep did Hydra's tentacles go? I mean, where did their reach end at some point? I mean, we find out now that they're in part of the U.S. government. It's not very comforting. Swear to God, next episode, the president walks up and goes, "Hell, Hydra, I'm done. I'm done with the whole Hydra thing." But 6 months ago, we find out what happened to Talbot. Apparently, he was needing medical attention because he's lashing out and having moments of clarity. Basically, he's taken under Hal's care and put in a nice little facility where he'd be taken care of. So that's how the family was basically tricked and giving up Talbot, because now Talbot is under the care of Hal. Well, in the process, we find out that Hal actually went and met the Confederacy, and now she wants to offer a deal with Hal. Or Hal wants to offer a deal to Talbot. Somehow make an alliance that will benefit mankind, supposedly. But we know how Talbot basically handles things. Long story short, he gives a nice little boisterous no. So Hal has him carried away, but he does the sweetest thing. He screams faith for deliverance by our hands at S.H.I.E.L.D. Apparently he has so much of a respect for Philip Coulson that he actually screams that he will come and save me. He will come and save me. They will barge that door any minute. Not for 6 months, unfortunately. But it's very awe that he actually has great love and respect for S.H.I.E.L.D. We won't tell Phil. So 24 hours ago, the same tactic that this is what's funny. The same tactic that they used on Stroker, on Talbot, they tried to use on Phil. Which basically was the whole, he walked randomly and alone into a little breakfast hall. Ruby walks in, and the person's all mystified and confused and disorientated and screaming at Ruby, trying to figure out where they're at. Phil doesn't buy it. He basically grabs him a box of cereal and a bowl and some milk and goes back to his room and eats the cereal, waiting for Hal to come to him. First of all, good tactic. But now we find out that the plans that Hal have are a nice little alliance between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra. Apparently, the Confederacy is willing to offer up all kinds of things in exchange for certain things like Inhumans, resources, Inhumans. But Phil poses the idea of what if we double cross? Hal's on board for that. So naturally, they come to the agreement that, hey, we'll double cross the Confederacy and be done with it. Well, we find out what exactly was the plan for Ruby all along and what she's needing from Philip Coulson. Nice little quantifier that's going to combine subjects to materials, and she wants to combine Daisy, our girl Quake, with gravitonium. Apparently, it would make her strong enough to take out an alien warship. And guess what the project's name is? Destroyer of Worlds. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, red light. Nope. Phil Coulson has a breakdown in which he tells her everything. We've been to the future. We've seen what happens. And the Earth is pretty much shattered in half, basically. And Hal her general reaction is, bull. You're talking crazy. I don't believe you. I'm going to send you off to your room without supper. And our girl Ruby decides to confront Phil about her dealings as Destroyer of Worlds. Unbeknownst to her that her mama had chose her for the nice little pet project. Which her reaction basically is, let me show you what happened to the last guy who questioned me and the last guy who told me what was up. We actually get to see Phil and Talbot have a nice little moment of, it's you! You're alive! So, being drug off by our nice little synthoids, Talbot declares his apologies because apparently he's the one that gave everything up to Hal about S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot. So, all these dealings going on, we're now in the present. And May and Daisy, apparently with them being Phil's top people, they figured out that Hal was Hydra too, given her connections and whatnot. So she's Hydra. Everyone else figured it out but me. I thought she was something new, but no, we had to go back to the same old, same old. So now with this, they figured it out. Well, May wants to go to Fitz and have him embrace his old Hydra ways, apparently to help figure out the dilemma and figure out what's going on. Much to Daisy's dismay, she's not too happy with using Fitz for anything. In which Fitz actually says something to me that I thought was pretty epic. How many times did you betray us and we forgave you? Ouch. But Fitz is right. How many times has Daisy double-crossed or abandoned the team for her own selfish ambitions? So naturally, we call that a touche, Daisy. With all this going on, mention about we need basically a teller, oh man, what's the word? We basically need someone to foretell the future. A fortune teller. There we go. We need a fortune teller. Well, Daisy decides that she's going to go find one. Apparently, Daisy is going to go after Robin to find out how to best handle the situation. Which, once again, is strike two in this episode of what happens in order for the world to end. You have the confession that they're going to use this project to make Destroyer of Worlds. And now Daisy is leaving the base, which she was videotaped doing. All that's left is for us to have another mind-bending experience. Well, leave that up to Gemma and Fitz. When Gemma explains to Fitz who Deeks is, much to Fitz's dismay, he finds out that Deeks is in fact his grandson. He spits awful things about Deke and says that apparently their daughter is going to meet some space trash and have a deke. So with all that said, apparently the future is becoming more and more permanent, and what are we going to do to change that, guys? Gemma and Yo-Yo are feeling somewhat invincible, with the guarantee possibly that their future is set in stone. Our girls are feeling like they can pretty much do anything, and time won't make them regret it. Yeah, right. But that's going to be a wrap for me. Be sure to give me a big thumbs up and post a comment being all friendly. Let's discuss this episode, and stay tuned to the end of the video and subscribe for more content. But my question for y'all is, what do you think about Talbot and Phil's nice little moment? Did you think it was all sweet that Talbot was screaming to the Raptors of his faith in Phil Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D., or was you just kind of meh about it? Let me know up here, down here. But that is going to be a wrap for me. I'm S.H.I.E.L.D, and you're watching Nephilim Entertainment. To all you daydreamers and critters out there, keep your heads in the clouds. Bruce.